Hey, good morrow to this fair assembly, my TJ scholars, and welcome to another week. Today is Monday, November 9th, so we've got some big things to talk about today, but we also want to talk about a really big week last week. Last week and the morning announcements, Mr. Swanson talked about the national election, and now the election is over, and we know who our new president and vice president will be. So our president-elect is Mr. Joe Biden, and our new vice president-elect, Kamala Harris. So anytime that we have a national election, no matter who wins, it's an exciting time because, like I said last week, it reminds us that we get to make a choice. And so that's something that we should not forget. We should celebrate that. All right, so friends, let's turn our attention to the upcoming week because this week and next week, big, really cool things. So today, first of all, today, guys, you know that you are on a new schedule today, okay? So your teacher is going to go over that with you, and it probably has already, but let's just make sure that we remember. Today is kind of an interesting day because this is going to be the first Monday that we are doing some interesting things. You're probably watching these announcements in a morning meeting. So your entire class is going to have a morning meeting, and then you're going to have about maybe 2 or 3 hours of independent work. Your teachers will talk to you about that. And then tomorrow starts the return of all of our third graders. 1 week from tomorrow starts the return of the entire school, 4th and 5th grade. And again, your teacher is going to talk to you about sort of the daily ins and outs and the schedule. But I do want to talk again about some of the things that we know that we need to do to make sure that we are keeping everybody safe. And we've talked about this a little bit, guys, but a couple things. First of all, as soon as we get to TJ, we want to make sure that we mask up, put our masks on. So you're going to see everybody. You're going to see your teachers wearing masks. Mrs. Davis is going to be wearing a mask. Mr. Swanson is, everybody in the office, just like you. That's how we can protect one another and protect ourselves. We're staying safe. So we also want to try to remember what door do we enter the building with. Your teachers have probably talked to you about this, and we've sent that information home to your families. Let's try to enter the right door. Now, like I said a couple times, guys, if you end up coming in the wrong door, don't worry, you're not going to be in trouble. All right, the reason that we want to have everybody assigned a particular door is so that we can get everybody in and out of the building pretty quickly, and we avoid a lot of like big crowds in one place. So let's make sure that we try to come in the right door. As soon as you walk in, you are going to see that there's going to be a hand sanitizing station, maybe even a couple. Let's make sure as soon as we come in the building, we're sanitizing our hands. That's another way that we protect ourselves. And finally, let's make sure that we are practicing social distancing. That means that we're 6 feet apart. Think of it like this, guys. If you stretched out your arms like this, you want to make sure that there is nobody over here, and you want to make sure there's nobody over here. That's close to 6 feet. So we'll help with that. Let's just try to stay away from one another a little bit. Have a little bit of space. Now, a look kind of way ahead. Here in about 2.5 weeks or so, we've got an exciting thing. It is Thanksgiving break. So we have a lot to look forward to. Our first day of Thanksgiving break is Wednesday, November the 25th. Believe me, I am going to be reminding you about this. Your teachers, they don't need any reminders. They're going to know. But very exciting. So we do have that to look forward to. Okay, so it is now time for another episode of Where is Mr. Swanson? And let's start by talking about last week. Last week, I told you that Mrs. Allen's class kind of gave me some advice and said, hey, Mr. Swanson, check out some other places in Virginia. And I did. So I went about 2 hours southwest of Falls Church, and many of you were able to figure this out. Friends, I was at Shenandoah National Park. Specifically, I was on Skyline Drive. Skyline Drive is actually kind of famous. A lot of people in the United States have heard of Skyline Drive because it takes you through the Blue Ridge Mountains. You're really up high and the views are just unbelievably beautiful. So some of you have been to Shenandoah before, some of you have not. If you have not, check it out. Lots of pretty things to see, and there's hiking and there's some cabins there that you could stay in. Very, very cool place. Among the classes that knew where Mr. Swanson was last week are Miss Muller's class, Mrs. Fine's class, Mrs. McCann's class, Mrs. Newbert's class, Miss Sheldon and Mrs. Lauer's class, Miss Cowa's class, and Mrs. Hughes' class. Nicely done, nicely done. Somebody, I can't remember whose class it was, somebody thought that maybe I was in China. No, I might need a little bit of help from you all paying airfare to get to China. So no, not China last week, Shenandoah National. That was pretty cool. Okay, now, where is Mr. Swanson now? I'm going to show you around on the camera a little bit, but let me give you a couple hints first. First of all, I did come back to Washington, D.C. So the place that I'm at, it's in Washington, D.C., and if it looks like I am at a college campus, it's because I am. I am at a college campus in Washington, D.C. And the place that I am at actually has been in the news a little bit in the last maybe week or so. There have been some really important and famous people that have been right here where I am at. For instance, there is a beautiful author named Toni Morrison. She went to school here. There is an incredible actor, Chadwick Boseman. He passed away a couple months ago, I think. An incredibly talented actor, and many of you know Chadwick Boseman as the actor who played the Black Panther, which was a pretty awesome movie. So he came here, and then most in the news lately, the college where I am at right now is the home college of our new Vice President, Madam Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. Let me show you around a little bit. It's kind of hard to see because the sun is really bright, so I'll try to get out of the way a little bit here. So this is a place that's called the Yard. The Yard. And again, pretty hard to see, but that building behind me, that's sort of a landmark on the campus. A lot of people know that landmark. So you look around, there's a lot of space here. It's really very pretty, very pretty. There's a lot of academic buildings and buildings where classes are held. So that's where I'm at. And then way, way off in that direction, way down there, way past where you can see, is Washington, D.C. and the U.S. Capitol. Okay, so you have heard all that. You've seen this place, the Yard. You know that I'm at a college campus in Washington, D.C. You know that the people that have attended this campus include Toni Morrison, Chadwick Boseman, and Vice President-elect, Madam Vice President-elect Kamala Harris. So, where is Mr. Swanson? Talk it over just like always. I will give a shout out to the classes that get it right in next week's morning announcements. All right, friends, let's get it started. Just like always, we want to be safe, we want to be respectful, we want to be responsible, and no matter where we're at, no matter what we're doing, let's always, always, always do some good today. Have a good one, TJ.